Okay, so now that you have your sketches done and you've decided which composition you're going to do, this is the second half of the project, which is the final execution. So this is the one that I'm going to do. I like robots. This is from an old TV show in the 60s, so I'm becoming nostalgic. But so at this point, I'm going to take this and we're going to make it this size. This is 8 by 10, so this is going to have to go full size. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get reference for this. Move this over here like that. You need something to look at. So I did a quick sketch here based on this reference right here, and this is the robot. And so you can see here I just took a piece of tracing paper and I laid it on top of it, and I did a quick sketch of how to plan this out. And then the famous line this robot says is "Danger, Will Robinson," and I decided to use that instead of just having code in there. And I put a desert landscape, Mars or whatever. So now that I have this taken care of, I can look at this for values or color or something like that. But I think I'm going to basically go off of this to my execution. So now I have to figure out where I'm going to fill volume. So I went into the computer and I just started typing in random words. Crunchy, sweets, fudge, you know, stuff that's on my mind right now. Coffee, tea, whatever. You could write poetry in here. You can have hidden message. I don't care. It's a lot of fun just to kind of have something that's not so obvious. So I could cut these up, and then I went through some magazines and newspapers, and I cut out a bunch of just scrap text that has different sizes and weights. And so this is pretty bold right there. I might use some of this stuff for details or something like that. So I have all the pieces I need right now to do this, and so I could go ahead and get started. So this is a piece of layout paper, as always. I don't think I need this anymore. Put that off over here, but we're going to go ahead and, as always, make sure that you sketch up on tracing paper, and then you do your final on either layout paper like this, or you do it with Bristol board. So I'm going to go ahead and use this, because then I can see underneath it. And so first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do my final rendering, so that this way I'm going to put some line work in here to fill volume 2, and this will help a lot when I get started on building it out. So as always, I'm going way too fast, and you have the ability to fill some areas in, but I'm going to leave some of these areas blank, because I'm going to fill them in with paper, with newsprint. So I'll make that decision later when I'm going to make into black shapes. But for now, I'm just going to keep them open like this. I'm going to just have the these antenna pieces here, whatever they are, sitting there without the pieces. I can probably put a letter there or something like that, or maybe I'll render a letter. So I always start out with a fine liner, because you can always make it thicker later. And yeah, it's, at this point, you know, this is a pretty forgiving project. It's really meant to be kind of relaxed. I mean, I would do a neat job, do it very accurately, but I wouldn't really like sweat big details unless that's really part of your design. I had one student do a portrait of her dog, and the way she layered the paper, it looked photographic, and it was like, wow. And she ended up framing it and putting it up in her house. So, you know, if it's that important to you, you're going to give it away as a gift or something like that, you know, think about that. And but, you know, at this point, you know, I'll probably put this up somewhere because I do like this robot. It reminds me of the olden days. So I'm really simplifying some of it because I know already I'm going to fill volume in certain areas. Like this is definitely going to be filled with volume. And I want it to be a quick read. There. So now that I have all this done, I can go ahead and put this line in here. And then down like this. And I know I'm going to fill all this with volume 2. Okay, so here's the landscape. I think I'm going to do 2 different layers of earth here just to give it some dimension. I'm not going to put this in yet. I want to just focus on the robot right now. I don't want to mess it up. I may even rethink it, who knows. So now that I have this done, I could go in here and to take another Sharpie, a bullet point, and I'm going to go around the areas I think I want to heavy up. So I definitely want to heavy up this glass piece. And you know what, I don't know, I guess maybe from doing tight, clean and crisp looking projects inside computers for so many years, I just kind of like the handmade stuff. Just makes me, you know, feel kind of, you know, it's a little bit more warm. Okay, so that's done. I think I'm just going to go ahead and add this in. And I'm just going to go ahead and make that my one area I'm not going to fill volume. And then down here, same with this line. I'm going to probably just go ahead and clean that up. Give it some, tighten it up a little bit. I don't think I'm going to do the arms because I think those are going to just be completely filled with volume. And the same with down here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in. And so I think we're pretty close. I think that's as far as I'm going to take it. One more. I'm going to do this one right here. So anyway, I'm happy with that for now. Let's go ahead and start figuring out how we're going to fill this volume. So the first thing is I'm going to go ahead and put the dark stuff in. I know that this stuff here is like a rubber or some sort of a heavy plastic or something. And I like this. This is cool looking. So I think what I'm going to do is I have to figure out how I'm going to cut it out and then glue it down without cutting the paper up. And I don't think I could do a carbon transfer on the front of this. So if I took a piece of paper from here and then try to see, it doesn't work very well. So I'm going to have to do it on the back. And that's not a problem either. So it's all the same. And I have this here as a working file. So I'm going to go ahead and carbon transfer this on the back. And then, so at this point, so I want to turn it around so that it'll be able to fit this right reading. So this has to go backwards, and so then this has to go backwards. So, which is cool because now it's already has carbon on it, so I could just go over my lines without doing any kind of sketching or scribbling. As you can see, I'm kind of making up my rules as I go along. I actually never did this project. I think it's healthy for me to do all the projects we do in class, so I get an idea what you guys are up against. Hey, look at how cool that turned out. Look at that. So now let's do the quick test to see if this actually works. I'm going to go ahead and take this and with an X-Acto knife on a piece of cutting board, and I'm just challenging all of you to do a much better job cutting out than me. This is going to look a little chiselly, but I am kind of rushing this. And you know, if it doesn't fit all the way, you can go in and you can actually you can even fill in more with black marker, so that's kind of forgiving in that area too. Maybe with some of the white gaps would give it a highlight, and that'd be kind of cool too. Yeah, this is going to look kind of chiselly, but I hope you guys get the idea. Okay, so there we go. We have the pants. Let's put that on here. That turned out just what I wanted. I wanted to have the type down, and I think it's fitting pretty good. I think I may have to trim a little bit off the bottom here. I think I can get away with that without ruining this layout paper, because I could just glue this down to a piece of Bristol board later. That turned out really nice. Okay, so now I got to get that scrap, and here it is. Everything's coming in here. Okay, and I'm going to use this as a backer to use some glue sticks here. You could use a glue stick if you want. Make sure it's a fresh one that's moist, because you don't want this to come up on you. You could use rubber cement too, and it depends on how big the parts are. You can use spray mount too if you want. I just decided to use glue stick because I don't have to keep running around back and forth. So let's see. Alright, so it's a hair off, but that's okay. I can fill that in later when it dries. So I got that part done. So let's do the same thing with the arms. So you're starting to see the density filling in a little bit. Here is my piece of paper. I just want to make sure I want to have the type going vertical. So I'm going to do both arms and fit it in there. And you could, I mean, I typed this out. And it's one of those things where you can run multiple sheets of it. Just type, you know, I basically all I did is did one set of columns, and I put it up on the computer made it black background, fill it in. Oh, you know what? I did it backwards. Boy, that's crazy. Okay, so let's try it this way. At least I add some more graphite down. Okay, that's pretty good. Now let's go ahead and put that on here. I think zigzags are meant for these knives. Look at how fast I can go with a zigzag. The curves are tough. And I just changed the blade so the blade's really sharp. And that really helps a lot too. Nothing's worse than having a dull blade doing this. It rips and it pulls and it's frustrating. You want to have a nice clean blade. Going a little bit wider to fill in. Here's one. And then this one here. Okay, I think these ought to work well. They might be a little off, but I can probably improvise. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's a little off. I think I'm going to go ahead and put it in, and then I can add some more Sharpie to it. It's a little bit short, but you know, I can add a black line there. So the big idea here is that you don't sweat the details. There's a million ways that you can take it to the next step. And basically just I think the most important thing for me is, you know, can you find places to fill volume? I just have fun with shape, values, and volume, and that's really what I want. Okay, so this is a little off, but I think I can take care of that later. I don't want to wrinkle it. There we go. Okay. So now we got that in. I think I'm going to go ahead and take a look at some of these small pieces. Oh, they're flying everywhere. Okay. So I have this piece here and this body copy here. This is kind of nice. It's really dark. I think I'm going to use this maybe inside here a little bit, and then I'm going to use maybe got a column of text here. Some smaller stuff I'm going to do in the collar up there. So let's see if that works. And then I think I have another one here that's kind of cool. Maybe this one would be the neck. So let's see how that would work. So go back to this. I'm going to make sure I turn it upside down again. This is right here. So let's see if I can fit this here on the neck. I mean on the top part. Yeah, it fits in there perfectly. So you can see just really broad shapes. Now that's going to be really hard to see. You know, I think what I'm going to do now, this is another trick that I learned, is instead of doing all this tracing, I think I'm just going to cut on top of the the layout here. And then that way I won't have to worry about finding it again. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut through some of this little bitty stuff. I think the big stuff you can use the carbon transfer technique, but this little stuff here, it's might work better this way. And again, I'm just going way too fast to be able to do all this project in about 15 minutes or so. It's kind of ambitious. Okay, so here's the piece right here. I don't want to pull it. And here we go. Oh, it's really tender. Okay, so let's see if I can. I've got two pieces. Oh, I got three now. Okay, see if I can get this to move over.